Take your position. The show is about to start.
Ladies and gentlemen,
welcome to On Screen, where we discuss all things cinema all the time. Here's your hosts.
the award goes to
Joe Brunett, Joe Cuffney, and Jesse Reichenstein. Lights, camera, action.
All right. So this week we are talking about the film called Drunk Bus.
So what made you decide to become a bus driver?
This and nude modeling are the two highest paying jobs on campus.
Dude, I think I'd pick the nude modeling.
Congrats! You're nearing a milestone with the campus bus service. Keep up the good work.
You gotta stay behind the line, man.
I'm pineapple. I'm your security. Try this. It's witch hazel.
Carry witch hazel?
Yeah.
So are you seeing someone?
What? Yeah. No. She moved to New York and said that we should see other people.
9 months ago.
So you drive the same route night after night? Feels like being stuck in a time loop. What you need is a do-over. Grab those 40s and let's dip.
I'm not stealing.
Go.
How's everybody doing out there tonight?
Let's do it. Let's do it. No! What was that?
Dude, none of it matters. Your job, Amy, college.
What do you know about responsibility? Everyone get off the bus.
Be real. You're terrified of the unknown and you can't make a decision to save your life.
How'd you learn to live in a time loop?
I didn't. I broke out.
Hey, drunk bus! Someone get this guy a beer! Are you on or off?
I want to see how this plays out.
ignite your future like I did.
Which is a random film that I stumbled upon. I was like on Letterboxd and I was just like, I kind of want to pick something I've never picked, like I've never seen. Like I just kind of want to pick a random movie because I've never done that before. And I like the main kid in this. I was like, he's from Ozark and I really like him. And then I was on Letterboxd and one of the comments said, this was filmed in Rochester, New York. I was like, what? I didn't need it. So I picked it before knowing that. And then I was like, okay, this has to be the movie. And I didn't know anything about it. And I was like, let's do it. Let's just go for it. And I knew Will Forte was somehow involved because I like kind of looked it up a little bit. So I was like, this is weird, but I'm about it. Even though he wasn't really
the whole
in it.
Movie. It was just his voice most of the movie. So the whole movie, I kept thinking, is it just always going to be his voice? Because it's very distinct. You know it's Will Forte as soon as you hear it. But I was waiting, till later where you actually see him. And I was like, okay, he did film scenes.
Yes, he did. Which I was like, all right, that's interesting. A very interesting role for him. I wonder if he was just bored or he like helped make this movie. I don't know. But apparently I did some reading on this because the main guy, Pineapple, his real name is Pineapple. And he's so funny. But I was like, what is this guy's backstory? Because I've never seen it before. And apparently he's a really one of the most famous like piercers in Austin. I think it's Austin, somewhere in Texas. Wait, hold on. I wrote this down. Yeah, Austin. So he's like a huge piercing tattoo guy in the Austin community. And apparently he knows the directors or writers and he like went to school with them or something. And then this is kind of like his story. He helped like write it and produce it, but it was like years in the making. I don't know. There's a whole article I'll post in the comments about him, and it's super fascinating. But
Super cool.
I was like, cool.
I will say going to this, when you posted it, for some reason, I just thought it was a horror movie. I thought it was like some B horror movie. And I was like, great.
No, I would not.
I know it's in Rochester, but like awesome. So I was not looking forward to it. the whole time. And then when I like looked it up to go play it, I was like, oh, it's not listed as horror. It's like listed as comedy or something. And I mean, quick overall, really enjoyed it actually.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So, but it probably helped that I was going and being like, oh, fuck this horror movie. This.
I will say it was like, I purposely did not pick a horror movie. I was like, let's go kind of more lighthearted. I was trying to go with that indie lighthearted vibe. That was like my goal, because I was like, we did Brian's Song, a little depressing. You know, we did Don't Look Up, also kind of depressing. So I was like, let me kind of.
What are you talking about?
Veer in a different direction here, not go horror.
This wasn't like that lighthearted though.
No, it wasn't.
It's a slight shift from depressing, but
I was going for Locating Silver Lake vibes, and I think it was that. So
I could see that.
It's just got that indie like low budget feel. So
that one, the shot when he's like losing it on the bus driving, you know, and it's like the camera's like going to the side. That's so like specific, like that. I guess it's probably that indie feel.
Yes.
Like when I was watching it, that I was like, oh,
with the
this
music,
is like the definition, of the style of music. It was like almost carnival-y, like
I love
music,
it, dude.
And yeah. But that shot very much like solidified, I feel like, the style.
Yep. I also think like, sorry, Joe, we'll get to you in a second.
Do your thing.
I thought I don't know. I thought it was interesting because the whole movie basically takes place on like a bus, and I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. And it's like, drunk buses are a real thing. I mean, I didn't have them at college because we didn't have a campus, so it wasn't like I think we might have, but no one really knew about it, and it wasn't really well used. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, and I've been on one, you know, visiting Fordham, like Griffin and Fordham and everything. So I've like experienced it, and I'm like, that would kind of suck to be a drunk bus driver.
Yeah.
Even though this is technically not a drunk bus, I think it's like a bus, just a bus, right? It's not like a specifically drunk bus.
Yeah, like we didn't have drunk buses at school, but we had late night. The bus system ran late at night.
Right.
It was all just college kids. It was like our system of buses. So the only people really on it are 90% drunk people.
Right. Yeah, because I know Griffin had the Ram van in Fordham, which was like it was literally a drunk bus.
Oh yeah, we had the specific, you can call this number and they will come and get you.
Yeah.
Or we just had like this that was like bus stops.
Yeah, we actually had, so like I this was a really weird movie to watch for me because it was all filmed at RIT, which we'll get into later, but that's where I went to school. It's really sad as it's not the Bengals. But I also kind of really enjoyed this for the like indiness of like it really did have just that indie vibe. But I also like it kept pulling me out of it a little bit just because like I've recognized everything. But it was also really funny because the like, you know, we had a drunk bus at RIT as well. I don't think it was called that, but that's what, you know, the common folk called it, I suppose. But yeah, I had a lot of the same thoughts that you guys just talked about, just like how much that would suck to be the driver for that. But also like, I just kept like, it was just weird to like watch it and like make all the connections. Like, I know that's like the cafeteria, you know, and not like come out of the story. But I did really like the story. I think Pineapple was by far my favorite character. I loved Pineapple.
He's great.
But yeah, overall, I was like very pleasantly surprised by this movie. I enjoyed it.
Cool. That's great.
Pleasantly surprised is like the perfect review, the quote you put out.
Yeah, that's probably what would be my TLDR of this movie. Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I kind of feel that same way. Do you guys think the KIT was a reference to RIT? Because it was the college was called KIT.
That was one of the things I kept noticing. So, I mean, I know it was supposed to be the Kent Institute of Technology, but the amount of times, like, I don't know if they had to like sticker over every R, because like it was the same. It was the same font. It was the same everything.
Exactly.
Even like signs, like literally everything. But they did a good job. Like, I didn't see anything that said RIT, even though I knew there's a sign there that says RIT.
Right.
So like, I don't know if they did that like in post or if they literally like stickered over every R with a K, but they did a really good job of not missing anything. Cause I was actually looking for it because it was starting to bother me. I was like, that's definitely not a K, you know?
And it's so funny because like, you know, it's based in Ohio in the movie, but like, why not just make it Rochester, like,
Well, that's what, because the story was written to be in Kent before they started production. Like it was specific to Kent, Ohio. And then they were going to shoot in Kent, I read. And then whoever the director, one of the people involved was like, we can shoot this in Rochester for cheaper and it'll like look like Kent. But it was like supposed to be Kent the whole time. It's just someone convinced them that they could do it for cheaper in Rochester. So they did it, which then makes sense, I guess. Maybe if it wasn't KIT, then they were like, we'll just throw K's over things.
Yeah. I will say it looked like Rochester. Like it was I liked it because it kind of just brought me home for a bit. But I could tell those houses with the snow. It was just very nostalgic.
We should go to Kent, Ohio, see what it feels like.
That's true.
I also kind of laughed. This was another thing that kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. But like when I was going to school, and including the drunk bus, it was the like local, bus system, RTS, but like the buses all looked the same. Like a city bus and a school bus were the same. But like if you look at like even just on the movie poster, you can see they like since I've been there, they like painted them this like flowy like orange kind of design because the school colors are orange and brown, that's a whole different thing. But like it's just weird to see like this old dilapidated puked and pooped on bus next to these like bright orange like well decaled buses that like I also know is just like that's just like the RIT like campus bus. Like I don't know, I just thought it was funny that he would always go in the like absolutely gross bus, even though it kind of makes sense, but I don't think that would ever actually work.
Right. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, I
did notice they filmed too, like the production was like March 10th to March 18th, 2020. It was like literally right before
quite a time
down.
Yeah.
But I also just wonder if it was like, a week in March. I wonder if that was RIT spring break, that they were like, we have 8 days and we're in and out.
Maybe actually. That's a great question.
Fit it in right away.
I was kind of wondering about the logistics of that because, that would be rather difficult to do when school's in session.
Right.
Yeah.
And nobody was wearing masks and all that. And like, I'm sure that would have been a problem if it was shot post-COVID. You know what I mean?
I think they got it in the perfect week, probably window of break. And then probably that was probably when RIT was like, no one also come back for the rest of the year. So it probably could have been like, we could have kept going, add a few extra months of production.
I kind of feel that vibe though throughout. Like I didn't even think about like COVID and everything, but for like I did like the movie, but I think it kind of dragged on a little for me. Like I wish there was just like a little more to it. Like some of the scenes that were like stuck out to me. Like I wish they kind of like were more consistent. Like I thought like the sex scene was really funny. I thought that was great. I kind of wish it had more of that like electricity to it kind of throughout. Cause I get it. His character's kind of like depressed and he hates his life.
Yeah.
I get that. So it makes sense for his character, but I feel like they could have done a little more with like, I don't know, something with the bus. I don't know, going to a location or something. I don't know, something that they
it did feel a little like, not that I'd classify it as mumblecore, but like it felt a little like that, where just like nothing ever really like storylines you thought would be bigger just kind of just happened and like kept going, and you were like, oh, okay. Like,
which I like.
Cool.
That's why I like these movies. But I think in this case for this movie, I just wish they elevated it, some of them a little more.
I think this movie could have been told in about an hour.
Agreed.
Yeah, I know the runtime was an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
And I got much the same feeling there. Like I feel like the story was actually very good. Mm-hmm. I just felt like there were lulls that kind of took me out of it a little bit. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I feel like just like cleaning it up a little bit, and this would be like I don't know what format this could almost be like a short, like a long short.
I was gonna say a short film. This could be a great short film.
Yeah, but
I'm glad they went for it.
A lot of the like drug dealer scenes, like I could have done without that probably.
Yeah, I feel like that's bagel bites. So classic. Like it's like that's in like a lot of movies. I don't really want to say it. There's always like that comical drug dealer,
right?
Who's like funny but also terrible at his job, but also really good at his job. So
like, and you thought was gonna be like a bigger storyline,
right?
Like
right.
with so many things, you were like, oh, okay, this will be a thing, and then you're like, wait, that was just that.
Yep.
I did like I don't know his actual name, but like fuck you, Bob. I liked his kind of arc with the whole, because like, not that I was looking for something super deep out of this movie. I was just pleasantly surprised that I didn't hate it. But the whole kind of like, oh, like I wanted to be a photographer. I wanted to get into art, but I'm not. Or he's like, I used to be into this. I feel like Bob's story almost like gave him the kick in the pants he needed to, like, hopefully after this movie pursue that more. You know what I mean?
Oh, agree.
Yeah,
I
would have
100%
been the
agree.
best storyline in this, honestly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
I don't
mine.
know.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty, like, I liked that. It was pretty emotional. I mean, when he like dies and everything, it's like, dang, like,
Yeah.
it's pretty intense. And like, I feel like he saw himself as Bob, you know, obviously, because like he's doing this thing consistently every day and he hates it. And he's like, am I going to end up like this guy, just like on this bus for the rest of my life?
I also thought it was going to take a weird turn after Bob died. Very soon after that, there's that like really weird suicide joke.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, is this guy just going to like think that everybody around him is going to die and then just like go like headbutting people and like, yeah, I don't know. But like, I thought it was going to take a turn there, but it was just a really bad joke.
Yeah, I was like waiting on the edge of my seat of like, is this movie going to turn into like this wild thing that I was like, probably don't think it should, like, this would be an insane turn, but like I'm expecting it a little bit with this movie. Or is it going to be like they're really doubling down on Fred's character?
Right. I liked how his character, what was the kid's name? The main guy? Charlie.
Charlie.
That's his actor name.
Tahan.
But what's his?
Michael.
Okay. I'm going to go Michael. But
and that's
I
so
liked
weird.
how
You watch a whole movie and then it's like, what's
Right.
his name? And then Michael, and that doesn't even sound right.
they don't even like
That is-
they don't even say his name that I don't even think that much at all. But I like his character. First of all, I really like him as an actor. I think he's really good. I'm excited to see him in more things.
He fits your role for like actors you like.
Yeah, he does.
I think-
He's got that vibe. Like,
If you line up all the like Freddie Highmore, Elijah Wood, Charlie Tatum, they all like, they kind of look similar. They're just like these like very like skinny, lanky, like kind of weird dudes. Like,
I mean, Ross Lynch.
that's what I was thinking the whole time. I was thinking like, there's like a real specific type of character.
Anthony
like,
Perkins,
actors.
who plays Norman Bates. He's lanky, tall, like a little weird looking. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
And there's like a few people who could fit in it, but they're
Jimmy
either
Stewart?
they're too much of one way. Like, I think like Timothy Chalamet could be in there if he wasn't so like,
Yeah, I'm not a
cool,
fan of him.
maybe.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. But I'm like, or like Benedict Cumberbatch, if he was like slightly more indie and weird, could be in it.
True.
There's one more, but you know, it's that same
100%.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh yeah, I like.
I was gonna say could be in
Yep.
a few slightly different, but it's
That's so funny.
specific.
Yeah, that's such a. I have like a subgenre of characters I like.
Like Jesse Eisenberg could have played this role before he ever became big.
Agreed. That's a really good way to put it for sure.
Sorry to derail that.
Oh no, I'm down. No, it was great. I love that. But I think I really enjoyed Michael's character because he never completely went off the chains, like kind of I was expecting, which is good. He kind of composed himself. I mean, he did headbutt the kid, but the kid totally deserved it.
God.
But other than that, he didn't like do anything crazy. So I was like, okay, I kind of like that. He kind of composed himself because he's an actual good person.
I mean, he headbutted and then he killed someone, but yeah.
I actually had a very similar like I was waiting for him to just like go on a rampage or something.
Mm-hmm.
And because I thought this was going to be very much in the same vein as like Taxi Driver. I don't know if you guys got that vibe at all, but like I like, I mean, that's a hell of a comparison for this kind of a movie, but like, you know, like driving a car and then slowly go insane. Like I could see where that would go, but it didn't really ever fully go there. Even though I thought it could have.
You just, I didn't think about that, but I mean, it's nowhere close to the same movie as Taxi Driver, but it's got that. I totally get that. Also,
if you look at the movie poster and then you look at like I don't think it was the actual Taxi Driver movie poster, but like it's got the same like weird, creepy like look where you're like, this guy could go insane, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense actually. It's more of like a younger version, but also like I'm just thinking now, this is just shooting things off in my head. It's like, what did they make an Uber movie that's like Taxi Driver?
Whoa.
Like the newer Taxi Driver. It could work. I actually like that. That's a kind of fun.
I actually think I could see that being a good. I would want that like in a similar format to this though. I'd want like a shorter indie movie called Uber Driver.
Let's make lightning strike twice. Or I mean, we could finally someone could get Taxi Driver right.
That's true. Something that always gets me is tongue piercings or watching piercings on screen / in person. I've never seen it happen until recently. I went with Jojo and Tori to get their ears pierced. I didn't get mine, obviously, but I've never seen it before. I was like, I kind of want to go check it out. And I almost like passed out. I was like, this is not enjoyable. And just watching that tongue piercing, I'm like, that would first of all bleed so much. Second of all, ow.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think whenever there's any like weird like piercings, stabbings, bleeding out, any of that, like a lot of times I just like I don't want to look at this, you know. I think I just kind of was like, not about this for that like 5-second period.
It made me think about, because like with piercings in your mouth, talking about bleeding a lot, because it just like pools in your mouth and then you could be like, ugh.
Oh God.
Is the time when you, Joby, slammed your head on the computer desk at my house when we were little, and you were like freaking out and you went onto the couch and just like put your head back. So like all the pool is just like basically pooling. The blood is pooling. And then you got up and the amount of blood that came out of your nose, like your whole face, which scared you. You were like, I remember you saying like, you think you need stitches. And then my dad was like, I'll go upstairs and get the sewing kit. And you were like almost out the door.
Yeah, dude.
But that's all I thought about is like this blood pooling.
It's funny because like I love horror movies and stuff, and I could watch like that stuff all day. But when it's my own blood, I cannot handle it. Like
what if it's someone else's blood though?
It's fine.
So what if you're watching someone else get pierced?
Well,
or is that just a whole different thing?
I don't know, because the piercing almost made me pass out. I think it's like the blood. It wasn't the blood though. I think it was like the fact that they're shoving like a needle in someone's ear. Like needles, I don't do well with needles. Like when I get tattoos, I don't watch. When I get shots, I don't watch. Like I can't. I don't know. I just hate it. Like I could never give blood. I would probably pass out and like
just to watch.
Anything with like blood and needles and like, ugh, I don't know. Not about it.
Yeah.
But if it's like in a slasher film, I'm okay with it.
See, that's a weird place to draw the line for me. Like, but I mean, I respect it, but not for me.
I get it. I totally get it. It doesn't make sense either to me, but I will say something that obviously they had the text pop up quite a bit, which I don't like, but I appreciate how they kind of made it their own.
I meant to bring that up.
Like they made it like not Android, but they made it more like less techie. I don't know, more like text edity. If that makes any sense.
I mean, the guy didn't have an iPhone. You had an old Razor,
right?
Phone
which I loved. First of all, was awesome.
That'd be funny if he had a Razor flip phone, but then every time it popped up on screen, it was like the iMessage bubble, like sound effect in bubble, like. Bloop.
Well, you had a Razor. Was that like how the texting was?
I mean, there was no. It was closer to that. I mean, it's also the best phone in history.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a lot of favorites, but the Razor, like they recently, released like a Razor with like the flexible glass thing, and I was seriously like, that looks pretty cool.
I kind of want that, dude. I miss flip phones.
Yeah, I was talking to Joe Cuffney, had a flip phone for a week, and I was
still got it right now, but
you have one?
There you go.
Oh, yeah. You have that? The newer ones? One of the new ones?
Yeah, I was telling Jesse, it's like oddly nostalgic to have a flip phone again, even though it's like kind of different still, but like
you like it?
Like, it took some getting used to, I'm not gonna lie, but I got used to it pretty quick. I just kept feeling like I was gonna break it, but it seems pretty good.
And he's returning it. I mean, long story.
I am returning it, but not for that reason.
Oh, okay.
There is, we were talking about though, there is something about like answering a phone and then when you're done, you're like, like
Yeah, it's satisfying.
very much done.
Even
Not
just
like,
flipping it open to
beep.
answer a call. It's like,
I also love when Razor was already past this point, but when you'd had the flip phone and then you pull the antenna up, you open it.
See, I think I'm Saved by the Bell. They didn't even have a flip phone. It was like the big chunky one, and you had to pull the antenna.
Yeah, the big just like satellite phone.
I love it. It's so funny.
The bricks.
Oh my gosh. Cool. I mean, yeah, there's not, I mean, this isn't pretty, there's not too much to this movie, but
the one thing I do want to do for this movie, which maybe is one of the next things we're going to get into here, but like I can get more specific than RIT on locations. This is value I can bring that I don't think IMDb can do. So I'm gonna rattle off a few of the specific locations that.
Wait, before you do, did you recognize any when you were watching the movie? Were you like, I know where that is?
Yeah, like almost all of them.
Really? Sick.
Yeah.
You guys should go take some photos.
Yeah, totally could. I mean, it's like
yeah.
5 minutes away.
Yeah, match them up, dude.
So, okay. So I'm just going to rattle off a bunch and then we can move on. But like, there's a main bus loop. That was one of them. There was actually one that was right outside of the dorm. I was in freshman year. There's like a cafeteria and then the dorm building I was in. That was kind of where they kept picking people up and where Pineapple first came on the bus.
Oh, okay.
There's a bus loop, and that's where a lot of the driving happened, was just around the bus loop. There's like a section that kind of goes off into there's no buildings and it just looks like a road. But there was like a bike path, and you could see like that's where he dropped the kids off on the bike path. There's a number of times where they show the bus going under a bridge, and that is actually closer to downtown. That's South Winton. There's a bridge right by the East Ave Wegmans, and that's where that is. And then there's a park just up above the hill, and that's where they like had the weird like snow sledding scene. But yeah, I recognized almost everything from this movie.
That's so cool.
So lots of random tidbits that's a little more specific than just RIT in Rochester.
I read that. I just like went on IMDb I think I Googled it and it was IMDb, but High Falls Terrace Park was there. I don't know where that is. But
that's the park.
That's the park.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Montour Falls.
That one, I don't know.
It was probably like a shot or something.
Somewhere. Yeah.
That's cool, dude. I bet you if we do these locations, we'll be the first ones to ever do Drunk Bus.
Probably. But except for the people who actually shot it. I mean, it was only a year ago or two.
That's true.
2 years ago.
I think we should capitalize on this. You guys
they don't even remember the location. They don't even.
We could become the biggest fans.
Drunk Bus 2, Drunk Bus 3.
The bus.
They could do a whole series, Drunk Bus, High Bus, and then just do a bunch of different like ways that aren't sober.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be good or not.
Make it a series.
Yeah. The Bus trilogy.
The Bus trilogy.
Or so it'd be Sober Bus, High Bus, and Drunk Bus.
So it's just the bus during the day. There's nothing going on.
Just one shot of a GoPro.
Everyone's like, oh, when is this going to turn? And then it's just like, oh, Drunk Bus is the sequel.
Wait, that would actually be hysterical, though. That would be, if we can get like an hour and a half footage, we could probably hit up some company if they do like dash cam videos of buses. Just like be like, can we have an hour and a half of your footage? Like,
and then how about, this is the first movie that Onset releases, is we release a trilogy all at once, but each of us directs a different movie of the trilogy. That. And then we release it all together. How cool would it be to just release a trilogy together?
It'd be sick.
Like
now,
different directors, and you're like, yeah.
Would it be 3 different movies of the same like trilogy, or would it be the same movie just differently directed by each of us?
No, I'm thinking like a whole like an
actual sequel.
1, 2, and 3, except they're all shot at the same time by different people. So like you kind of hope it all works out
at the same time. I actually love that idea.
Yeah, and then you all release it, and then you're like,
dude, I think we should change this from on screen to film ideas.
Yeah,
it's not a bad idea.
I mean, we do spit out a lot of them.
I got to start writing these down.
Jesse, do you have a bad movie review?
Dude, I always forget. You think there's going to be bad movie reviews for this?
I don't know, man.
Are there any?
Yeah, this is
Are there
this is a
any
prime-
reviews for this?
Actually, that's a good point.
No, there's got to be at least. There's got to be at least one.
Yeah, give me a minute. I'll find some. 98% Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa, how many reviews?
6.2 IMDb. One review from Joe Brunett. 684 ratings, 37 votes. It's not gonna have a okay. I'm so interested in looking up Pineapple now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's actually super interesting.
Reviews.
I mean, he's not great of an actor, but he did all right.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think he was bad.
No, he's pretty good for his feature film debut.
No, on IMDb it said he had a one before this or something.
Oh, really?
That's what it was saying. I just was reading through it.
Oh, maybe not. Pineapple Tangaroa. I do like that he made up his whole story. I thought that was kind of funny. He's like, because he's just like not like, he's like, oh, there's all this meaning to everything. And he's like, no, there's nothing to this guy, which I love.
Also, guys, I only can find one-star review.
Really?
And it's just the title of the review is boring and the whole review is bad movie.
I think that's your best read that review.
They just were like, yeah, I'll review this one. Bad.
Thanks. That was really helpful.
That was the quickest movie review segment I think we've ever done.
Should we get into
shorter
our
than
reviews?
that intro?
Yeah,
that intro is going to roll.
I'll go first because I picked the movie.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do I want to review this? I did like this movie. I really had no expectations. So I can't really be disappointed, which is good. That's why I like these types of movies. That's kind of why I like just shooting out of the dark and just like picking a random movie. It's like, well, okay, there's something to expect. Yeah, I mean, the fact that I was in Rochester was pretty cool. It was kind of a different story that I've seen before. Drunk Bus is kind of fun idea. I like that it was a kid too. It wasn't like an older person. I think being a kid kind of like stuck in this job was good because if it was an older person, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't care as much about the character unless they give some backstory. But I was like, this kid's got so much life ahead of him. Like, I hope he gets out of this. Hope he gets the girl, all this stuff. Pineapple was great. Loved him. Would love to see like a doc about him or him in other things. That would be kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know. It was just like a fun indie film. I don't know if I'm gonna rewatch this movie, but yeah, solid movie. If you like kind of indie style movies, you just throw it on. A little too long though. I'm gonna go 6.5 tongue piercings.
Cool.
Because I hated that.
6.5.
No, I liked it, but it was 6.5.
All right.
I kind of have, I mean, ditto to almost all of that. But the thing that I'm like struggling with this rating is like, I was pleasantly surprised. So like, I did like the movie, but I don't really feel like I can give this like a super high rating.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. I just feel like it had a lower ceiling for me, if that makes sense.
Same.
But I'm gonna go like 6.7, and I'm gonna go pineapple earrings because he had this really big,
nice
gauged pineapple, which I thought was really cool.
Sick. I will say I'm curious to see more from these directors and writers because I liked it enough where I would watch other movies by them.
Yeah, I think the other thing I kind of learned from this movie is that I like not knowing in the movie, like when I first watch it, where everything is. I think that actually kind of in a way pulled me out of the movie. But I don't know. It was interesting because it's probably the first movie that I was like, I know literally everywhere that they're shooting. So
that's cool though. I mean, that's fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. Do these directors is this early in their career? Is it late?
Let's see.
I did see that one of the directors, Brandon, it was
LaGanke.
Yeah, he was friends with Pineapple at Kent State.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was supposed to be at Kent because it's based on them at Kent State.
Gotcha.
And then I saw a very funny old photo of the two of them as punk kids in college.
Oh, I'll have to look at that. Yeah, they haven't really done much though at all. This one of the director, Brandon, this is his 9th film, and this is his most recent one. And Chris, I think Chris is the writer. He's the writer. This is his only credit as a writer and anything else. And there's one editor credit for something. And then John, the other director, did short films. So this actually makes sense. I wonder if this started as a short film. Or maybe they saw a short film or something about it. That would make a lot of sense to me, actually.
Well, I don't think they saw a short film because it's based on their
life.
Right. It would be weird if someone else shot this short film.
Well, one of the directors is like all his past credits are all shorts. So I wonder if they're like, maybe they originally pitched it as a short, maybe, or maybe they did make a short about it. And then I don't know. I'd be curious to learn more.
I mean, I don't know what I mean by a lot, but I feel like a lot of times it's like you could shoot the short yourself and then like you get financed to turn it into a
right.
But I was pleasantly surprised. I liked it way more than I thought. So love to go into movies thinking they're horror movies. This is probably my favorite horror movie you've ever picked. It was just pleasantly surprising. I'll go 7.5. I think it should get bumped up a little bit from 6.5. So we'll pull the reins up a little bit. I don't know. It was just good. I didn't regret watching it. I probably won't watch it again, but
I can recommend it though. I think if you can recommend something and like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not going to be the top thing I recommend, but it's like if someone was like, "Hey, should I watch this?" I'd be like, "Yeah,
sure." You have an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was good. Like you've said, it's like an interesting. I think like the storyline is interesting. Like the idea of like the bus and like security for him. Like just every part of it felt like, oh, this is an interesting like story to write around.
Yeah, I think it's fun. It's different. It's not a Marvel blockbuster, so something different.
Yeah, just like a weird indie mumblecore-ish kind of just happens. It tries to wrap stuff. It's not like it totally is one of those where it just totally ends. Like it does wrap it up, but in a very fast, like super fast at the end. It's like boom, boom, boom. You get it. So we'll go 7.5. I was gonna go face tats, but that's like all our ratings are so specific to Pineapple.
Because he's the
I
best.
just think he's such a lovable character.
Yep.
And / person since he's kind of playing himself.
Maybe face stitches then.
Face stitches.
5 stitches.
That's funny. Cool. That's awesome. Glad we all enjoyed it. Cool. Shot in the dark. I gotta do that again. I like picking movies out of random. So shall we get into some news? I do think we should talk about the one thing that was sad is that Bob Saget died.
Yeah.
I started watching Full House again. And I was like, I gotta watch it. And it's cool because when you start the series on HBO Max, they have like a little they have like a picture of him and they say like in memoriam of Bob. And it was really cool.
That's nice.
But yeah,
World's
that was crazy.
Dad.
And they still don't really know what happened.
That's weird.
So that's a bummer.
Rip.
Some news, some good news. Let's see. We watched Ghostbusters Afterlife, which was really good. If you like Ghostbusters, you'll love this movie.
That's the new one with like the original cast.
It's technically the third. So there's 2, and this is technically like the third one.
But it's like the original cast. It's
they
like
come back.
One.
They're in it for like a brief sec, but it's so without spoiling things, basically the guy who played Egon, Harold Ramis, I believe his name is, he passed away a few years ago. So he obviously is not in the movie, but the movie's basically, it's kind of like dedicated to him. Like the whole movie is essentially dedicated to him and his character. It's actually really cool how they do it. So I would recommend it. It's a fun watch. It's out on demand now. So
cool.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it if you like Ghostbusters and if you like I don't know. It's kind of like it's got that Stranger Things vibe. So if you like Stranger Things, I'm sure you'll like it. I mean, Finn's in it, so but cast is great. Paul Rudd's in it, so can't go wrong with that. We also saw Scream last night or yesterday, or sorry, 2 days ago, Friday night. Great movie. It's my second favorite Scream movie out of the series. Loved it. Yeah, that's what I've been watching.
Cool. Sorry,
go for. I'll talk after.
I say the connection to this movie too, because the guy who plays Mike's roommate.
Oh yeah,
he is in Search Party that I mentioned I'm rewatching. And I'm going to keep mentioning until both you guys watch it because it's just reaffirming how hilarious it is. It's so good. But he plays like a TV writer in the first season. Like he's a very small character. Yeah. But when I saw him in this, I was like, oh, cool. I'm like watching something with him in it.
Do you like him?
Yeah, I think he's funny. He would be. He's always such like a small side character.
Yeah.
That I'd be curious what it's like if he had like a big role because he's like a very specific character.
Sometimes it's like better to leave those. Like he reminds me of, I can't remember his name, the guy who plays Rod in Get Out. He's got like his perfect side character. Like he's a side character in a lot of things. I think recently he's been in a couple things as a main role, but when he just pops in, I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, he's a great set.
So he reminds me of Rod a lot.
Hot Rod.
But
yeah, that's mostly what SNL's back. Haven't watched it yet, but a lot of Search Party. Very excited to get through what I've already seen to watch the new season again. But
sick. What's that on?
HBO.
Cool.
I don't have. I mean, we've watched a few episodes of the newest season of Queer Eye, which is
nice.
It's always a strange. Like I enjoy the show, but like it's often so borderline cringy that like I sometimes have a hard time with it. But it's happy.
You find a lot of stuff cringy, man.
Yeah, but it's happy. It's like happy cringe. So like that's different than just
happy
like
cringe.
Well, there's like uncomfortable cringe, and then there's just like, oh well, that's nice, and like sometimes you want a little bit of that in your life. So we've been watching that. But the more pervasive thing for me this past week and probably for the foreseeable future is just the playoffs, the NFL playoffs.
Out of football.
So, nice. Yeah,
that's cool.
I should make like a movie about football.
Whoa, yeah, that would be pretty cool. Actually,
they should make a movie about the life of Derek Carr.
I mean, not gonna say no to that.
David's little brother.
That's the title. That'd be hilarious. I did watch this morning. I watched The Lamb, that A24 movie. Finally, it's been on my queue for a while, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it. It's great. It's a Icelandic film. It's very A24, if that makes any sense. I really liked it, but I think they could have done a little more with it. Like it was not boring, but it was very slow paced, which I expected from it. And that's what I liked about it. The part is like a beautifully shot movie because it's obviously Icelandic.
Was A24 just the distributor on this? Or
I think so.
Involved in
I think I don't know. It's on their website.
It's all blurry now with them.
Yeah.
I feel like since like we're mainly a distributor, but like now they've got their hands.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I think it was all mainly A24 because they were the ones who promoted it. They're the ones with everything. But yeah, it was good. I mean, again, I wish there was more. It makes me want to see another one. If that helps. It's like it's a weird story, but I really want to see more of the weirdness of it. It wasn't as weird as I was hoping. Let's just say that.
It wasn't as weird.
No, I was hoping it'd be more strange and more horror-y, I guess.
What's like the 1-2 line background premise?
Okay, so this two Icelandic couple live in the middle of nowhere. They just like live on a farm, and they have goats. And what's up?
Is it in Iceland?
Yeah, I believe it was. I'm assuming it was shot there.
Okay.
But basically they have this farm, they have these goats, they have these lambs, they have everything. And this one of the lambs gives birth, as naturally seeing giving birth. And there's something different with this one. It's got a human hand. It's like half human.
I hate it already.
It's like I almost picked it. I was like, I don't think they're gonna like this one, but it's not like I wish it was a little scarier and weird. I don't know. The ending was what I was hoping for the whole time. I guess like the ending was fun.
Gotcha.
Do you want me to tell you what happens, or are you gonna watch it?
Go for it, because I'll probably forget.
All right, I'll tell you. It's gonna basically. I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's basically like this lamb. It's like not a teenager, but like, maybe like 12 years old, something like that. And it's like walking, and they have a name for it. It doesn't talk, but it kind of like makes like these noises. And it's got one hand, like a human hand, and one like lamb. Basically, it's like kind of like half human, half lamb. And it's
like, this is like giving me Tusk vibes.
It's way better than Tusk. It's like, yeah.
It's like slightly better than Tusk, just like a little bit better than Tusk.
It was born like that, and they don't know why. Like they don't know what happened. And at the end, basically, you hear a gunshot, and these two people like love that lamb as their daughter. Obviously, like it's a girl, it's their daughter, and you hear a gunshot, and the mom comes running up the hill, and the dad's dead, and you just see like the baby lamb looking. And you see this big grown lamb, like goat with like these horns. It's holding the shotgun. It's like basically it's like it's like the adult version of what this lamb's gonna be. So I think what happens.
So they realize it's gonna grow into.
Yeah, basically you see the adult goat basically shoot the guy, and then he grabs the lamb's hand and they walk away, and it kind of ends. And I'm like, I want to see more of that.
What?
Because that's like the folklore aspect of it. But like, I want to know where did they live? Because clearly this goat had intercourse with a lamb because it was half human. I don't know. It's weird. Again, very A24. I liked it though. It was fun. It was kind of like if Animal Farm was indie.
Classic A24.
Yep. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that just fried my brain.
I think that's a great way to wrap it
up. Basically, if you want to like watch the movie without having to watch it, watch like the last like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You'd be fine. Cool. Is that a wrap?
I think that's a wrap.
Lamb
on a drunk bus.